It's rolling. You got the. All right. So this is take 2. Thanks, Sarah. We're gonna get through this quickly though. So I've got a bowl for dry. You can see it's got a little leftover flour from the last try. I've got a bowl for wet. I've got sugar, salt, flour. I've got a whisk right here. I've got a spatula. I've got some measuring spoons, milk, and eggs. And that's everything I need. And I want that all set up before I do anything. So as you get used to this, that'll go pretty fast. I've got flour here. This is 4 cups of flour. And I'm going to put it into the dry sifter. We have one of these on every single truck. And so I'm just going to shake this back and forth. Some people like knock the rim a little bit. But all I'm doing is fluffing out the flour. This is a totally mechanical thing. I'm just making sure it's a little bit fluffy. Next thing up is I'm going to finish off my dry here. So I'm going to add my sugar. So it's a tablespoon of sugar. And I'm going to add my salt. It's a teaspoon of salt. So we make these every morning like this. You'll make up 1 batch. Some locations you'll make 2. And you can always make up more as the morning goes on if you run out. So I'm going ahead and mixing those in to just gently incorporate them. Now onto the eggs. So right now we're using eggs from Chippen Farm. We like them a lot because they're so fresh. We get them like 24 hours old. And now I'm going to, I'm just going to crack a dozen of these. So when you're cracking the eggs, it works well to crack them on a flat surface. You don't want shells going in there. And if you crack it on the side of the bowl, you're more apt to get shells. And though sometimes you'll occasionally get one. Best thing is just to move very slowly and carefully grab that little shell with your finger. But we start from fresh eggs each morning. And what am I up to? That's 10, 11, 12. All right. Double check for shells. I have another little shell here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is mix the eggs. Now, you really want these very well mixed. And you'll notice I'm doing this before I add any milk in here. Once the milk's in, you're never going to get the eggs mixed at the same level. I'll stop for a second so you can see it's not quite done. Alright, so you go more than you think you should, and that's about right. Now I'm going to bring my milk, and I can use that same deli that the flour came in, right here. And with milk, I'm going to do 5 cups. So if I bring this up to, there's usually a line on the delis, that's 4 cups. And then what we do is we do about 1/4 of a deli for the next measure. So that's about right, 1/4, 1/2, 4 cups. Okay? So that's 5 cups of milk. Now I'm going to mix this in with the eggs. You get this all the way mixed. Megan's trying to make me laugh over there, I think. All right, so you see it's bubbly. It's really well mixed. There's no sign of any yolks or whites or any of that. And then over here, I have my flour, which has all been sifted and it's all ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the wet into the dry, and I'm mixing while I do that. And this is sort of like pancakes. You don't want to overmix the batter. If you do that, you start activating gluten in the flour, and the popovers come out sort of tough. But you want it all incorporated. So it should be something sort of like the consistency of heavy cream, and there might be some bubbles on the top of it because I just made it, and that's fine. Now there also might be some little lumps in there, and that's totally fine with me. So this is all ready to go. And what we're going to do next is we're going to make popovers. we can store this in the delis. You want to make sure you you transfer it between the bowl and the deli shortly after mixing it, so that you don't get separation. But that's looking pretty good. So you see, it's a little bit like the consistency of heavy cream. Okay, so this is coming out of a 400-degree oven. It's been in there for at least 5 minutes, so it's up to temperature, so it's hot. And we want to work quickly. I've got pieces of butter that are ready to go here. For the first batch of the day, you probably want a little bit more butter, but those just little pads of butter. I'm going to put this back in the oven and let them know. So here we go. This just came out of the oven. It's hot. I've got a hot plate for it, so it's not melting my plastic. I need to work sort of quickly. I have my batter here, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that. So I'm filling it a little less high than it looks like I'm filling it. But that's about where you want them to be. So these ones look high, but they have a lot of foam, I can just tell. Now I got to get it back in the oven, so it won't cool down. So that's going to go in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. We'll change it down to 350 after 15 minutes, and it'll be another 15 minutes. So it's 2 15-minute bakes. One at 400, one at 350. All right, so we're just taking the popovers out of the oven. They've gone through 15 minutes at 400, 15 minutes at 350. The timer's gone off. And so now they're coming out of the oven. And these look really, really beautiful. I'll just point out a couple things really quickly. Let's take one of these guys out.
Cool. So I should go down soon. I think that it's pretty much.
All right, so they've got really nice structure. They feel sort of hard a little bit. That's because the 350, that helped, that lower temperature we baked them at, that helped solidify the crust on it. They have like nice golden brown color. They have nice texture on the top of the popover. You can see the steam coming out of it, and that'll continue to happen for a little while more. Now when I break it, it's got a little bit of a crunch, which is really good. But inside, it has this really nice eggy crumb, and you see that it's not hollow inside. It's actually like sort of like a spider web, and that's about where we want it to be. So that's what you're aiming for when you pull the popovers out. And then we'll make as many as we think we're going to sell in a half hour or so, an hour, and then we'll make more and we'll make more. We'll make small batches all morning long. That's good.